1767, the day Ayutthaya fell, the fall, rebirth, and legacy of an immortal empire. Introduction. The twilight of the Venice of the East. Imagine a magnificent island city, encircled by 3 great rivers, with hundreds of gilded spires glittering under the sun. It was a place where merchants from Persia, Japan, China, and Europe all gathered, making it one of the wealthiest and most cosmopolitan metropolises in the world. For over 400 years, that city, the capital of the Kingdom of Siam, existed as a symbol of glory. Its name was Ayutthaya. But on a fateful day in April 1767, it was all consumed by a sea of fire. The invasion by the Burmese army did not just take lives and property. It incinerated almost the entire cultural heritage, the scriptures, and the historical chronicles of a 417-year-old empire. This event is considered the greatest catastrophe in the history of the Thai nation. But from those ashes, a miraculous rebirth took place. The story of the fall of Ayutthaya is also the story of the birth of modern Thailand. Chapter 1. Historical context. The cracks within a golden empire. In the middle of the 18th century, Ayutthaya was still a mighty empire. But beneath its glittering facade, fatal cracks had appeared. The late Ban Phlu Luang dynasty had descended into endless power struggles. Coups, assassinations, and purges among aristocratic factions had severely weakened the unity in the central governing apparatus. The last king of Ayutthaya, King Ekathat, is described by history as indecisive and lacking leadership talent. Meanwhile, to the west, Ayutthaya's traditional rival, Burma, was at the peak of its power under the aggressive Konbaung dynasty. After years of preparation, the Burmese king Ayutthaya, and later his successor Sinbushin, resolved to launch an all-out assault to completely destroy Ayutthaya, aiming to eliminate their age-old rival once and for all. Chapter 2. The 14-month siege. Resilient resistance and a foretold death. In 1765, 2 massive Burmese armies entered Siamese territory from the north and the south. The Ayutthayan army, due to internal division and a lack of effective command, could not stop the enemy's advance at the borders. By February 1766, the 2 Burmese armies had united and begun the siege of the capital, Ayutthaya. This was a total and brutal siege. The Burmese built forts, cut off all supply lines, and continuously shelled the city walls. The people and soldiers of Ayutthaya resisted with incredible resilience. They relied on the advantage of their strong city walls and the surrounding river system, which acted as a natural moat. They held out through the dry season, hoping that when the rainy season arrived, the floodwaters would rise and force the Burmese army to withdraw, a tactic that had succeeded in the past. But this time, the Burmese were better prepared. They built boats and floating bases to maintain the siege even during the flood season. After 14 long months of being surrounded, the city began to run out of food. Disease and famine ran rampant. The morale of the defenders gradually collapsed. On April 7, 1767, the Burmese army launched its final assault. They dug tunnels under the city walls, packed them with gunpowder, and blew them up. The walls crumbled. Through those breaches, the Burmese soldiers poured in like a flood. Chapter 3. Destruction and Annihilation. The Ashes of a Civilization. What followed was one of the most tragic episodes in history. The Burmese army carried out a systematic slaughter and destruction. Palaces and temples. Hundreds of splendid palaces and gilded temples were burned and razed to the ground. Buddha statues. Countless bronze and gold Buddha statues were melted down for their precious metal. Thousands of stone statues were smashed, especially their heads, a symbolic act to humiliate the enemy's faith. The most famous image that remains today is a sandstone Buddha head trapped in the roots of a Bodhi tree. Cultural heritage. The entire treasury of literature, royal chronicles, legal texts, and art, preserved for over 400 years, was consumed in the flames. This loss created an enormous historical void, making it very difficult for later historians to piece together the history of Ayutthaya. The people. Tens of thousands of people, including the royal family, nobles, artisans, and court dancers, were captured and forcibly marched back to Burma. After a few days of looting, Ayutthaya was nothing but a dead city, a giant pile of ashes. The kingdom that had existed for 417 years, through 33 kings, was officially annihilated. Chapter 4. Rebirth from the Ashes, the Unification by Taksin the Great. It seemed as if the Thai nation would never be able to rise again after this disaster. The kingdom disintegrated into many pieces, each controlled by a different warlord. But from this desperate situation, a hero emerged. He was Phra Taksin, a brilliant general of Thai and Chinese descent. He gathered the remaining soldiers and broke through the Burmese encirclement to the east. With an iron will and extraordinary military talent, he quickly captured coastal cities, building up his army and his fleet. Just 7 months after the fall of Ayutthaya, in November 1767, Taksin led his forces up the Chao Phraya River, drove out the occupying Burmese army, and liberated the country. Because Ayutthaya was completely destroyed and could not be restored, Taksin decided to move the capital to Thonburi, a city on the west bank of the Chao Phraya River, across from modern-day Bangkok. He ascended the throne, founding the kingdom of Thonburi. Over the next few years, he defeated all the other warlords one by one, reunifying the entire Siamese territory. Taksin the Great had performed a miracle. He had resurrected a nation from the dead. Chapter 5. The Undying Legacy, the Foundation of Modern Thailand. Although Taksin's Thonburi kingdom was short-lived, it created a crucial historical bridge. After Taksin's death, one of his generals ascended the throne, founding the Chakri Dynasty, which reigns to this day. This king, King Rama I, decided to move the capital once more, across to the east bank of the Chao Phraya River, and build a new capital. And when building this new capital, he took Ayutthaya as his model. The name of the new capital, which we commonly call Bangkok, was partly named after Ayutthaya. The palaces, temples, and canal systems of Bangkok were all built to recreate the glory of the old capital. The fall of Ayutthaya in 1767, though a catastrophe, left behind profound consequences. The birth of a new capital. It led to the establishment of Thonburi and later Bangkok, the political and economic center of Thailand today. The forging of national identity. The disaster of annihilation and the subsequent struggle for independence forged an incredibly strong Thai national spirit and a resilient will. The foundation of modern Thailand. The political, legal, and cultural models of Ayutthaya were not completely lost. They were inherited and developed by the kings of the new dynasty, creating the foundation for the modern Thai state. Today, Ayutthaya is a historical park, a complex of majestic ruins. But those silent red brick walls do not just tell the story of a lost empire. They also tell a story of rebirth, of the fierce vitality of a nation that rose up from the ashes to rebuild their country even more gloriously.